What's happening, family? I hope y'all having a good day. Don't mind me, I'm just folding clothes, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get it done real quick, but I guess I just shared it in my community page. Um, this guy was trying to go to court, and a deputy tried to block him from going inside the courthouse, so then he like pepper sprayed him and then started hitting him from behind. And I was like, damn, but the thing that's important to understand is the guy who was reacting to the video, who was talking about it, whose page I shared it from, he had a good point. He was like, these people then came and colonized and took and raped and killed and stolen. Then they created laws after they did it all. They did it in the spirit of lawlessness, is what he said. And then he said they created the laws and a justice system afterwards to try to maintain and further enslave. And I was like, facts. Facts. I don't understand how somebody could give me law after living in lawlessness so long. And I was listening to Captain Tazaria, and he kept asking Christians what's the right of it's something called the right of something where the Catholics and the Christians had the right to enslave you if you didn't believe in Jesus or something like that and pillage you. But he was asking them how the natives, because the dudes kept saying the natives, and I talked about this before, he was like the natives and the Latinos accepted Jesus Christ. And then Kazari was like, how did they get it? And he didn't want to bring up the rite of passage or whatever it was called. And whenever Tazaria asked him about it, he kept avoiding it. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Because I keep telling you, they keep trying to create a pretty image talking about love, even if you're enemy and turn the cheek and all that. Nah. Do you know why Jehohanan was an enemy of Rome? Do you think he turned the other cheek? He was preaching against them or doing whatever they didn't like, and they slew him for it, right? Just like the Bible said, John the Baptist was talking crazy to these people and he got captured, right? But what do I know? Y'all keep talking about the Lord Jesus Christ. I don't, like I said, y'all gonna do what y'all gonna do, cool. Um, for the most part, the Bible that you guys read, I don't care if you're a Hebrew Israelite or what you are. Look at my shirt. Lucky to be me. But yeah, they keep that book is from Catholicism, the Codex Sinaiticus, Mount Sinai. The Pope raped whatever form of that book or writings people had in history. I keep telling y'all that. I don't care what faction you are. I don't care if you're a Muslim. They were influenced by the Pope. And y'all don't believe me when I say the Pope was influencing Muhammad. But clearly he was, because if they were all pagans, why would he then start using a book that the popes and the Catholics had already instituted legal in Rome? That doesn't make sense, right? Right. Who influenced Muhammad to bring the Old Testament? Where'd the Old Testament come from and all the prophets? Wasn't the Pope and them using that? Right. And the Greeks and the Babylonians, they all got their own Torah, right? So, hold on, give me 1 second. But really, the reason why I'm making this video is because I'm seeing a lot of similarities between racism and Christianity. In Christianity, you got a whole bunch of this is good, but that's bad. This is holy, but that's evil. This is righteous, but you shouldn't be doing this. And then when I look at racism, I see the same shit, and anti-gay and anti-woman and all that. So it's basically the same thing. Y'all are basically taking writings of men, going into a fairy tale, and then playing fairy tale land with that shit. Oh, the nails, of course. So, which is why I get tired of hearing all this shit. Y'all, anybody that has trouble still believing whether or not they shouldn't be following certain things or people, I'm telling you. I've shared a couple videos talking about Africans and whatnot recently. Because a lot of us were mind fucked and put in a mindset to hate darker people. And that's what the current world is dealing with. And so, as soon as we wake up from that and see that a lot of stuff is slavery and lies like the Noahides, bro, why do those exist? What is Noah doing? Everybody always will be like, this is a metaphor. Is that a metaphor to these stupid fucking unaware people who read this shit and believe in it? Y'all know what y'all are doing. And when I sit here and expose these things, don't nobody want to hear this shit. Because the Bible one time will say scriptures are up for proof. Then people be like, well, God don't change. But they don't talk about Noah. And Noah is where he changed. Did he not? I'm sorry for what I did. Don't be confused or bound by other people. Learn. Gain higher levels of consciousness. Understand. Wake up. because I don't give no strength to these racists no more. I just laugh at it all. It's buffoonery. The blatant, they sit here and tell you what's holy. They sit here and tell you how to act, and all these people do this, blah, blah. The history is all lies. Bro, it's bullshit. Stop believing in that shit. If you're gay, stop questioning yourself. If you're African American, stop thinking yourself, oh, I can't be smarter. They lied to you. They talking about the Egyptian pulley was made in 1900 BC. Then how was they building pyramids and buildings in the fucking 7,000 BC, 15,000 BC? The Mesopotamians invented the pottage bowls and the wheel and the blah, blah, blah in 3,500. And 3,500 means number didn't even go that far yet. Y'all are... But listen. And then they got one little bitty temple and they call it the Babylonian temple. I don't see... Did they knock the noses off the Babylonian sphinxes? They be lying to y'all, man. And it's clear what they trying to do. And if y'all really want to understand, go look up the Sam Bushmen in different tribes. They look Asian, right? No, Asians look like us. I had no idea. No idea. We are the birthplace of civilization. So keep letting people lie to y'all. Keep praising these dumb fucking images. That's on y'all. But I'm telling y'all, when you're ready to wake up, there's a world of peace and clarity. It's not really peaceful at the moment. I can liken something like Moses. Just like Moses and John the Baptist didn't see promised lands. Shit. I'm living in pure, whatever the fuck this is. But I got faith in humanity. And something else I want to talk about before I go. I want to talk about, I see a lot of people arguing with Muslims, arguing whether or not they're peaceful or not, arguing with Christians and Jews and all these other different factions or religions. They know what they did and they know what they do. I wouldn't argue with a Christian or a Muslim. I wish I would. Or a Jew, or a Zionist. I wish I would. First of all, I'm going to go from the Judaism. That's just cosplay at this point. They had to resurrect the language, everything. Y'all have no idea what y'all are doing. Second of all, and y'all don't, they follow something in the dark different than what they even appear to be in the light. They sending all these representatives throughout politics trying to influence people with Israel, right? What happened to JFK? I think it's because he liked black people too. It was a whole package. And then, and then Muslims, I see people arguing, well, Muslims love the blacks and blah, blah. Y'all, if y'all believe that, that's why I don't debate, because I clearly see something, and I know we all have our opinions. But if I see somebody come up and stab another person, and in my mind, the person that got stabbed while just standing there was the aggressor, then who am I arguing with? What are you doing? Gonna argue with these people? Yeah, it's cool to awaken other people and expose them and show how dumb they look. But eventually, bro, it's just... Like, I respect what Captain Cesaria do in terms of... I don't respect his views on race, but I respect what he do with Christians and all them, because he be exposing the fuck out of them. But then he goes down the rabbit hole and just start talking about Hebrewic law, and it's just right back in the same fucking circle over and fucking over. You know what I mean? I wish I would worship any of y'all gods. Y'all are wild. And not like John the Baptist, the wild man. Y'all are just wild, animalistic, murderers. Just y'all, it's just like, even when I hear people talking about fighting crime, everybody that gets to talking about fighting that, see all this crime and shit, whatever exists, they all like string them up, castrate them, cut off their nut. It's like, bruh, I don't want to be on their side either. This is just a bunch of violence everywhere. So I don't know, man. I wouldn't even argue with no religious people, because you gonna be the one that get violence. They gonna take their violence out on you. And I respect what Dan said a while back. He said even when you agree to these people that they're Christians and Muslims, and the way Mehdi Hassan was debating, I'm starting to realize why he does that. Because really, we always be talking about be the bigger person, be kind. There's times to do that. But when somebody steadily, I don't give a fuck if it's with words. What are y'all doing? Just gonna keep standing there? No, hell no. Talk to these people like the demons they are. The fuck? So, to cap on what I was talking about earlier, if you pay attention to what happened with this 14-year-old child who was shot when he was in the store, when he ran out the store, right? Now, you would think most of humanity would see that and be like, oh, okay, he had a weapon, because what do Americans love? Look at the irony of it. They love guns, but when one of the children has a gun to protect themselves, then he's the aggressor, even though he doesn't reach for it, use it, or anything, and is running away. And so the reason why I bring this up is because you look at people boycotting these Asian businesses now. First of all, I don't blame nobody for doing something like that. And that's something else I want to talk about. Whenever African Americans come together as a group, you'll notice in today's society and standard, people will call it racism. You start talking about your culture after people say, go get your own culture, they'll call you a reverse racist, right? But what other culture is treated like that when they try to come together and talk about their past, their history, and the things that they like food and stuff? They don't do that to Hispanics. They be like, oh, it's cultural. Or Asians or people in other countries, they might be racist towards it, but when they come together and convene, do we do that to them? Now, what if I was to do that to Judaism, right? Anybody who was considered a historical Jew, right? And I went up to them and I said, it's racist for you getting together with other Jews. What would they call me? Anti-Semitic. And so the reason why I think it's counterproductive for any Asian to mock black people right now is because I live in these areas. The only people that shop at their stores are predominantly African Americans. So to get on camera and mock them after killing one of their children, I think is silly. But you would think a normal person would be able to understand and engage that. But what did the world do when this child was killed? They mocked him like they did George Floyd. They spit on his grave like they did Trayvon Martin. And I can do this all day. But then when African Americans, like a man like Captain Tazaria, says that certain people are devils, why is now he the racist after racism doesn't exist? It's attacking the oppressor. I gave the same metaphor over and over. That's like going to a women's group of women who were M-worded and R-worded over and over, and now they're in a special group and a bunch of men walk in and start telling them, it's your fault this happened. You should have had better parents. You should have wore a sweater vest. That's what they're doing to African Americans. And I keep telling y'all over and over why I don't agree with Captain Tazaria. For the same reason that the Underground Railroad existed. When you treat all white people the same, you're doing the same thing as the slave master is doing, and you're being a bigot. Humanity isn't going to become vibrant until we see each other as other humans and stop arguing and fighting with each other. I have a close buddy of mine. You know what he just shared? He just shared, this is America. Share the American flag, not the pride flag. We don't want you people here. What do gays have to do with him? What did gays do to hurt him? But yet, for some reason, he finds them and stomps on their head. Did the gays oppress him? Did they enslave him? No, they didn't. And so this is the irony I'm talking about. Why would Christians who say Jesus is the ultimate love tell people to love their slave master? There has to be an ulterior motive there, right? And this is what I'm trying to exemplify with people. I don't care if people use scriptures and biblical and blah, 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 and all that. My problem is what people are doing is they're using things to enslave people's minds and then create minions and soldiers out of them. Right? So, I'm going to give y'all a recap. An Asian American got rid of affirmative action in schools, which then led to affirmative action being removed from the whatever. This incident just happened where a young man was shot because they thought he was stealing, and now Asians are mocking black people, right? So then when African Americans institute a boycott, when African Americans start becoming segregationists themselves, it's times like this where I don't accuse people of acting certain ways. The same way if a woman says she never wanted to see a man again after having something like that happen to her, I wouldn't accuse her, would I? We aren't just inadvertently, any of us, racist, but we all do have our own ideologies on how to survive. And if those ideologies can't blend together and make a picture, and we continually make blotches all over the paper, then it's going to be nothing but destruction and bullshit. I'll give you an example. Some of the biggest people you see in liberal media, the ones that are going, oh, we love each other and respect and blah, 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 and we should all have freedoms and blah, blah. All those people are rich, for the most part. I keep telling y'all, when Trump is in power and people like this do these things, these media personalities get fucking rich. We all follow them. Yeah, help us cope against the bad guys. And they get richer and richer and richer while just spewing bullshit. I'm not saying they're not sincere, but for the most part, most people that are trying to lead you aren't sincere. They want a following and will do whatever it takes to keep you guys in a loop. Why do you think I don't got many subscribers and fans on my YouTube? There's people that got on my shit. This one lady wrote a paragraph about why I imitate Jesus and why I'm Jesus. And I deleted it and told her don't follow me no more. She keeps calling me idols' names. I don't want people to follow me. The point of my videos and saying I am who I am is for each of you to strengthen yourselves. If you're gay, be vibrant, love yourself. But if you're not gay, don't play around with shit. If you're not gay, why are you attacking the gays? If you're straight, why are you attacking women? With the red pill. None of this shit makes sense. Meanwhile, these elites are enslaving and bombing and murdering people every day. And nobody says a fucking word. You think Trump is the one with total power? How does a man that's 80 years old get out the bed, go to a fucking building and control the world? It's the people around him who are the mindless fucking zombies because they think they're taking oaths. Okay, if this country is a country of separation between church and state, and we don't allow religion to inflict our politics, why is every single senator have APOC in their building, and why do we swear on Bibles when we go to the courthouse? If we sell holy water on TV and we love Jesus and God so much, why are the most people that are in mental institutions the ones that say they hear God? And so, the more I understand what John Core Book says, and Carl and Dan, everybody that's around me, it's all cosplay. We pick and choose which cosplay we want to do, and we attack others based on our faction. Until some media head gets out there and says, the word Jew is nothing more but the circumcision of the heart, and all we have to do is love ourselves and others the same, and the world will get better. No, they don't want that. Why do you think atheists attack certain people but love others? Why do you think Christians attack certain people but love others? If I destroy Christianity right now, the biggest haters of Christianity, Jews and atheists, would lose their minds. You know why? Because they wouldn't have purpose anymore. They don't want the world healed, just like the police. What Chris Getty said the other day. They tell these noble lies on the news. We can get psychics to figure out who you are and blah, 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 and all this other bullshit. Meanwhile, the CIA has technology to watch every single person on this planet. Why don't they tell the truth about the technology versus the noble lie? Because if they healed the world, the CIA wouldn't exist, the FBI wouldn't exist, the police wouldn't exist. They need these institutes. War. Why do we love war? Why are these people trying to take other people's countries and do it with war? Because then they can't sell their products and machinery. They can't get their contracts. Now look, we don't have money for reparations for African Americans, but now we're about to give the Iranians $300 billion. Think about what I'm telling y'all. If they couldn't make Iran. Uranium. If they couldn't make nukes before, you think 300 billion is gonna help? Then the same African Americans building this country up steadily up, over and over, building civilization and technology and everything else. How was the wheel invented in 3600 when there's pyramids over 15,000 years old? What's the Egyptian pulley, and how do you build a pyramid or any structure without the Egyptian pulley? But that wasn't built until 1900 BC. What are the components of a pulley? Don't you need a wheel for that? Mesopotamia invented the first bowls. Wasn't it written that the Africans left out of Africa and went into those places? There are certain things that don't need tempted and tested in life, but I can assure you man's writings are one of them. Because a man will sit here and say the sky is purple while the sky is clearly red because of Twilight or whatever. Not Twilight, but for whatever reason. And people will go after him and follow him and hurt anybody else who say the sky isn't that color. That is where mankind is at right now. And because what I'm going to tell y'all say, oh, race and uniform. No. The anti-black that exists on this planet comes before all y'all other bullshit. Because the same people who are oppressing other nations, like the Hispanics who are being destroyed by ICE. Now go look how many Hispanic people are anti-black online. The same people, they want slavery and don't want any of these rights. That's going to trickle down when the elites lose power and we're gone, and it's then them. And who's going to help them? They're going to be mocked too. And so essentially what I'm telling people is keep playing the game. But when it reaches you, get ready for the mockery.
Beat the brakes off that pink police officer. Just watch.
Driver plans to file a lawsuit after he says he suffered a permanent injury by a Northampton County deputy.
So in January, Don Long II was trying to enter a courtroom for a scheduled appearance when things went wrong.
He says the deputy pepper sprayed his eyes, and as surveillance video shows, that's not all.
In the first couple of minutes, the video shows Don Long arriving at court. From inside the courtroom by the door in the back, you see Long attempt to enter, but is not let inside by the deputy. Later, again, Long tries to get in, and the deputy steps out. They are both in the vestibule when seconds later, Long is seen walking away, wiping his eyes. The deputy follows and hits Long from behind, and the two begin.
Right there. Now, why did can all of you guys, non-compliers and, excessive force agreeers, withers, And all of you guys who go with law enforcement and no matter what they do, why did this pink officer try to hit that black man from the back? And you see how he is now. He's balled up like a baby in a crib as my man began to wail on him. Let's continue.
And to fight. You can see the fight from another camera angle. More deputies arrive and one puts Long in handcuffs. They lead him down the hallway and into the courtroom. Later in a holding cell, Long keeps trying to wipe his eyes, eventually laying on the floor to adjust his handcuffed arms from the back of his body to the front.
Now, I don't know how agile my man is to do that. That's for, for thin swimmers, Bill brothers, because I definitely probably couldn't do that to save my life.
Then he goes to the sink to wash his eyes. While wiping his eyes several times with his shirt, EMS crews arrive minutes later.
And the now former deputy is Gregory Colson. Northampton County Sheriff Jack Smith tells us that after an internal investigation into this incident started, Colson resigned. An outside agency is investigating whether criminal charges should be filed.
And as well, criminal charges should be filed.
Okay, I'm going to show you this, and then I'm going to show you one more video from Captain Tazaria explaining to y'all how they feel about y'all and why y'all need to wake up whenever they say Christian or Muslim, we're all brothers. No, y'all need to pay attention. I don't agree with a lot of things Marquette or Captain Tazaria says, but when they go after racists and bigots, I can clearly see what the world is doing.
Even after Islam, slavery was not categorical to blacks. It was anybody. You don't have slaves. Slavery is
You speak
not.
Arab, right? You speak Arabic, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
What is the pejorative term that the Arabs use for the blacks? Let's be honest here. What is the term?
Abd, which is.
Yes, that's right. And they use that for the blacks, correct?
And I was shocked
Yes.
the first time I ever heard it.
Don't be shocked. Yes, exactly. And you can't lie to me because I know the truth. It's impossible. So
See, knowledge is power, and when you know, you can't be manipulated as easily, and this is why they didn't want slaves to read and write in the first place. And when they did create the Bible for the slaves, as you all probably don't know, they gave them a slave Bible. This is truth.
What do they?
Yes. So Majid, I must.
What do they
Majid.
use in Tunisia?
Yeah.
In case you didn't catch what he said, the term for Africans and blacks is slave in Arabic, just like Goyim in Judaism.
Majid,
I'm sorry, you have Goyim and then Ham.
I must tell you this, Majid. So far, I think all of your arguments have been very weak, particularly because you won't grant the obvious. There are entire...
And that's why I don't debate people. The obvious. They know what they're doing, and then they'll smile and walk around in circles to avoid the question. Watch, I'll show you.
They removed most of Psalms. They removed most of the Old Testament and only kept scriptures like Matthew 4, turn the other cheek.
And that's
they
evil.
Kept all
You
that.
shouldn't mess with God's word.
And that's how black people...
I don't believe that. So
now,
if I
don't mind the interruption.
Yeah.
That's how black people received Christianity. Through that and through the sword. Our identity was taken away. Our names was taken away by Christians. So when you say that Christ came over here, that Christ is all love. In Matthew 28, Christ didn't say go and enslave all nations, right? He said go and teach all nations, right?
Facts. Now hold on, what? Okay, this is what I want to show you guys. This is what it's called doctrine of discovery. And I got to tell y'all, while I'm not finna undermine the Africans and what we went through, they did this with all of Europe. They went to entire towns and they have records of killing over 60,000 innocent people unarmed because they wouldn't bow to Jesus Christ.
American
Allow
Indians
the Christian
Jesus
church
Christ
to go rape, pillage, and enslave African countries, North and South American countries, and any other country in the name of Christianity.
I'm saying that whether it's black, white, Native American, Latino, people have done evil things in the name of God.
And so if you actually watch this, which he has bigger portions on his page, if you watch this, the dude said the doctrine of discovery was not inherently evil. I'm telling you he did. It's crazy. And he wouldn't answer the question of how they gave these people Christianity.
Just asking you, is the doctrine of discovery true or false?
The doctrine of discovery actually happened, yes. But I don't believe that
what
it was...
did the doctrine
I don't believe it was
What
inherently
did the
evil.
doctrine of...
He don't believe it was evil. Love your slave masters.
You already just said?
Yeah.
He said the doctrine of discovery was not inherently evil.
So when we're talking about
So
a
what you're
Western
saying is,
civilization,
you are
where
definitely-
these tribes
you are
are literally
definitely-
worshiping rocks and they're worshiping spirits that live
and
in
so
the
the way
water.
that you helped them was to enslave them.
No, we bought
rape
them medicine.
Kill.
When
They
the-
didn't- matter
Medicine? What medicine? Who spread disease? Bro, I can't make this up.
of fact,
The Indian
they didn't
medicine
even have no
is
diseases
large-
till white
that's-
people
that's
came
not
with. They
even true.
just
Those
every
time-
disease under the sun because you're filthy. Doctrine of
these-
dis-
Welcome to America. And most of the world, actually.